Good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? This is your coach Renz, and today we're gonna talk politics. Not really. Okay, so here's the deal. I've listened to both conventions, both speeches, both nominees, and I'm not trying to push anybody one way or the other. And this discussion is not for your political commentary as far as who you should vote for, who's this, who's that, who's a thief, who's a racist, who's We're not talking about that. What we're talking about is a solution. We're talking about something that, as far as the financial aspect, that both of them were talking about how, we're going to make America so that, people have money, so the economy of America becomes better. This conversation is really just about a solution. It's about a way that if they were truly candidates who wanted to make America a better country financially, this would be an inclusion into whatever else that they believe that they should be doing, because I know both of them understand and know this information. This information has been known by people of power for thousands and thousands of years. It was originally told by word of mouth, and then when some Sumerian tablets were found 200 some odd years ago, it began to be in written form. Now, in every financial book that you've ever read, in every self-help program that you've ever read, they all stem from the writings of the Sumerians of over 2 million tablets. And one particular grouping is called The Richest Man in Babylon. Now, I discovered this book about 15 years ago. Yes, I had 35 years of bad habits to overcome, but this book has helped me come along the way. And there's a particular chapter, because the book is set up a little bit different, just different stories. There's a particular chapter that talks about how when the nation was poor, when the nation had issues, when 1% controlled 90% of the income. There's a chapter on that, and how King Sargon then initiated a program that created Babylon into being the richest nation in the known world in that part of the world at that time frame, and how it was able to proliferate itself in that for hundreds of years, maybe 1,000. But here's the deal. It took the emperor realizing what was going on. I'm gonna break it down to you, paraphrase the story so that you don't have to go to the long version. But basically, this is what was happening. After Emperor Sargon had irrigated the desert from the Euphrates River and created this environment of trade and prosperity, after a few years, only a few people had the money. See, most people didn't have money. So the emperor came back, and he was like talking to one of his counselors, and he was like, what's going on? The energy, the mood of the city is horrible. People are mad and angry. And the council said, well, the reason why is because most people are broke. Most people don't have money. They can't go buy anything. They can barely feed themselves. And the emperor's like, but I did all these projects. I put these construction projects. Sound familiar? I did all these, this irrigation, this canal. I did all these things to incorporate trade. Sounds familiar? But then only a few people got the money, and everybody's broke. What's the problem? And the councilors were like, look, a few people have figured out how to make money. And because they've been able to attract and keep all the money to themselves. Sound familiar? So King Sargon was like, okay, that's not going to work. That's just not going to work. So who's the richest man in Babylon? And the council's like, well, this dude Arcad. He's about 70 years old, the richest man in Babylon. So he's like, have Arcad come see me. So Arcad came to see him. And then when he did, he was like 70 years old. He came up there, and he was like, how did you become the richest man in Babylon? And he told me, he said, well, I started out from nothing. I had a tutor, a mentor, teach me some things. I followed that. And over the years, I became the richest man in Babylon. And so the King Sargon was like, so what you did started from having nothing to becoming the richest man in Babylon can be taught. He said, yes. So the next thing he does is that Arcad said, well, tell you what, give me 100 people. He got 100 people. The king gave him 100 people. He taught that 100. Then he sent that 100 to go out and teach thousands. And then those thousands continued to proliferate the idea. Now, not everybody became rich, but people began to have a higher standard of living. Money flowed more evenly throughout the kingdom, throughout Babylon, which then in turn made Babylon even wealthier and made even more people want to do business and trade and that sort of thing with Babylon. It became a shining beacon of economics. And this can happen in America by simply doing a similar process. What is that process? Okay, the first thing we got to do is we got to put a serious financial education program in our school systems that start right around the 6th grade and continue. As important as it is that they study math and English and science, The children need to be studying finances, economics. You know, I grew up in a household where we didn't have those conversations. We didn't have that kind of learning. You know, your economic learning was get a job, pay your bills, you know, try to live as best you can. So we didn't have that. But in teaching these people the 100, the 7 cures of a lean purse, and then the 5 rules of acquiring gold, you know, and that going out, we need to be teaching economics and a macro and micro situation to school kids from 6th grade on up. America did very well back after World War II because Americans knew how to save money, and they had to put down payments for houses. It wasn't a credit-based system. We got to get to that kind of system. And the thing about it, if we're teaching economics and how to save, you know, a portion of everything you make is for you. You know, and that's a big thing. Think about that. A portion of every dollar you make is for you to pay yourself. You've heard that before because it comes from the richest man in Babylon, and everybody else has said the same thing. And then a portion of what you make needs to be invested, and then what you invest, you need to bring that money back, and then you send it all back out into investment until there is a river of gold or a river of income coming into your pocket. Those kinds of lessons need to be taught. So we got to start in the school system, change the educational process to teach economics and how to build wealth. Then the next thing is that because we can't just say, okay, we're just going to let all the adults and just lose out on this generation and that generation. For those who want it, we should have a system, a program that is teaching economics, investment around the country, and not this, oh, let's buy some bonds and 401ks. True economics, how to save, how to put money back. You know, yeah, we got to, you know, you can lower some taxes, you can do a few other things, you can try to raise the minimum wage. But here's the thing, you've seen it happen a bunch of times. Somebody wins the lottery, but they had bad financial habits before they won the lottery. Those bad financial habits goes into their lottery winnings, and within 5 to 7, 10 years, they're broke again. They're right back to the same state. Money just magnifies who you really are. So it doesn't help to have some of these Band-Aid programs. What we have to do is be able to have programs that teach people exactly how to build wealth, how to create wealth. And I know there are organizations out there to do it, but those organizations are based on making money for themselves, and I'm not mad at them, I'm not blaming them. There's a gap. There's a gap and there's an opportunity, so I don't blame them. I mean, I would do it myself as well. I don't blame them for doing it, but if I'm a presidential candidate, then I need all of America to get on board. See, why get into a huge build of infrastructure, giving people higher wages, but then they still don't know how to spend it? The money will go back to the rich people. There's a saying that says that if you took all the wealth in America and spread it out evenly amongst all the people of America, that within a short period of time, those who were wealthier before will have all that money back. And I believe that that is true. So that would have been part of my message, that we should understand the richest man in Babylon and what Emperor Sargon did. And then beyond that, the rest of the book. And so it's an amazing book. Go out and get it, read it. Y'all have a great day. Your greatness is non-negotiable, and so is mine.